Yo, what up, friends? March Madness this week. It is going to be amazing. Now, you all know, very much so because I've been talking about it for the past month now, that March Madness, especially that first weekend, is either my favorite sports time of year or it's very close up there with, I'm pretty sure it is my favorite sports time of year. March Madness, especially the first weekend, you get basketball all weekend, 4 days in a row, games going all day, all night. It's just amazing. Selection Sunday was yesterday where they announced the seeds for the men's and women's tournaments. I have the brackets here for us. You know me. I'm always going to provide you with the goods. So I do have the brackets to bring up. So first of all, I just need to say, before we get into anything else, before we get to the men's tournament, right? We know basketball aficionados, college sports fans, March Madness fans, NCAA basketball fans know that the past few years, the women's game has been much more exciting than the men's game due to star power and all sorts of other things, which is why they got a huge rights deal, media rights deal, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But, hold on one second real quick, because as I mentioned, I have to shout out my UCLA Bruins. Yes, the UCLA Lady Bruins, the number 1 seed in the tournament. The overall number 1. I see you, Lady Bruins. Shout out. Let's go, UCLA. Yes, I am so hyped. They are definitely winning the championship this year. Not because I'm a homer, because they have the best team. But let's talk about some of the other teams first, because there are a lot of other teams and ladies that deserve to be mentioned, because as I told you, they are carrying the momentum from Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark last year, getting all those, like I said, the media rights deals, the ratings through the roof, and now they are leveraging, parlaying that into what is going to be another amazing tournament. I first have to talk about our rival, our hated enemy, the FUSC Trojan Condoms. Beat us twice this year. We got them back in the Big Ten tournament. Sure, we're going to have to obviously, deal with them possibly at some point. We'll get into that in just a second with the brackets, but they do deserve their flowers, especially because Juju Watkins is a silent killer, as I like to call her. She's just a beast. She goes in there, walking bucket, just killing everybody. Also, with those rising ratings, 3% from 2024 and 41% from 2 years ago, massive ratings boost, again, led by Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese last year, carried on this year with the aforementioned Juju Watkins. You also got UConn, Paige Becker still doing her thing, plus you got Aziz Fudd and the freshman there, Sarah Strong. They got a really good team. Do not sleep, not that you should ever sleep, on a Gino Auriemma-led team since he has so many championships. But definitely they are someone to be contended with, as are the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. They were 38-0 last year. Now, while they are only 30-3 this year, they are still one of the betting favorites, and in some books, the betting favorite to win the national championship. UConn, aforementioned UConn, another betting favorite. FUSC, another betting favorite. And not a betting favorite on many of the books, but as you see with my cap on, a betting favorite here at Ball and Buds. I already put in my wager on the UCLA Lady Bruins. Led by Lauren Betts, the best player in the post in the country, dominant big, led by Kiki Rice, DMV's own Sidwell friend. Shout out. Don't forget about the Frosh, Kendall Dudley and Sakia Newman, right? They are both from the DMV as well, so we definitely want to salute them. And actually, now that we're getting to that point, y'all know, look, I think UCLA is going to win the national championship, so I went ahead and I created Wow. Champ, this is unbelievable. I don't know if we would ever get along in real life. I assume we will because we like boxing, probably have a couple of beers together or something. But it seems like on everything sports wise, we are completely the opposites. Raiders, Broncos. Now, here I find out you are an FUSC fan, and I cannot deal with this. This has ruined my day. Right, exactly. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I think we could definitely hang out, have a beer, have a little barbecue, and talk some shit to each other. But damn, I hate your school so damn much. But anyways, y'all got a great team, and again, something to be reckoned with possibly this year. I know, right? So let me go ahead and bring that bracket up for y'all. This is the women's bracket, as you can see here. And so again, when you're looking at this, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for y'all. Oops, that was the wrong one. This one should be, there we go. Okay. A little bit more of a full screen there for y'all. But anyways, so as you can see here, we've brought in our bracket of the women's side. So the top four number ones, you've got UCLA, you've got FUSC. Now, this is where we've got a little bit of drama. A little bit of drama came in here. FUSC's coach, Champ, you'll know your coach. I believe it's not, I forget her name. Oh, geez, I'm blanking on her name. Anyways, really good coach. But she was complaining earlier this morning that USC was screwed as a number one because of having UConn in their same bracket part. So in each region, y'all, this is what you got to look at and especially for y'all that are going to bet or do your March Madness picks. Each obviously there's a region for each of these schools, each of these seeds, and you want to look at each region because those are the places that you're going to pick your four teams that emerge for your Final Four. So again, when we're looking at this, you get those sorts of things that pop up. And so USC, their coach came out again and was like, hey, this doesn't seem fair that we were one of the best teams in the country, if not the second best team in the country, and we end up with UConn. Valid criticism. I agree. I think they were probably the second best team after UCLA in the country this year. And I do think they got the hardest road with having UConn there, so they did kind of get screwed. But I do think they'll get past UConn, and I do see UCLA and USC playing in the in that left side of the bracket there, as you see. Cool. The second seed in UCLA's bracket, as you see, is NC State. So UCLA, as the number one seed, does seem to have the easiest road here in terms of region competition, which it should be. That's how it's supposed to play out. The number one overall seed is supposed to have the easiest road in terms of other seeded competition in that same region. Moving over to the right-hand side, you see we got South Carolina, the aforementioned Lady Gamecocks, up at number one. Number two in their side is the Duke Blue Devils. You'll hear a lot more about them on the men's side when we get to them, but don't flake on their women's side. And I do want to point out one sleeper here, and it's not just because it is my alma mater, but the Lady Terrapins from the University of Maryland. You see them there, number four seeded. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them. While I don't think they have the goods necessarily to beat South Carolina, I will tell you right now, they have an amazing team. And if they're healthy and they have everybody, including, everybody from the Coach Brenda Freeze being on her game all the way down to the last person on the bench, including the rookie Poffenberger, who've been having a great year. I mean, it's just a good team. I think they're a little young, and it does kind of make me upset a little bit in terms of that they wasted. It seemed, well, we'll see what happens in terms of this actual tournament. But it seems to me that they kind of, and again, I feel kind of bad saying this, wasted the career of Cheyenne Sellers. Cheyenne Sellers has been there for 4 years now, has been an all conference, all nation player each year there, and they just weren't able to get it done there in her time. Also got to shout out my girl, Allie Kubek. A woohoo! She gives me a little, you know what? Let me stop. But she is a beautiful, beautiful young lady, and she can ball. Shout out, Allie, if you hear this right now. I am shooting my shot at you. Holla at your boy. Jump in the DMs. Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. Allie Kubik, number 14. I see you, girl. Okay. Anyways, moving on as I just shot my shot at a college basketball player. All right, let's keep it moving in the right-hand side because I can do that because I'm a player. On the bottom right-hand side, you get the Texas Lady Longhorns led by Madison Booker. Had a little bit of rough edge end to the season there, so we'll see what happens with them there. But in number 2, another Texas team, Texan Christian University, the Lady Horned Frogs, as y'all know, my favorite mascot in the whole United States college, aside from obviously my aforementioned schools, but I'm talking about non-affiliated professor schools. They are better than Vanderbilt, though. So anyways, you see the women's bracket there again. I told you I got UCLA coming out here. I don't even need to wait. I don't even need to tell y'all to come tomorrow on the Bottom Line Sports to find that out. We're probably not going to talk the women's side. I doubt Canteen or Hot Take Jake want to talk the women's side. Maybe they do. Canteen does love him some college, so I could be wrong. But we'll probably definitely just talk the men's side. I'll try to get them to talk women's either way. UCLA, USC on the left-hand side, South Carolina, and then I'm actually going to go with an upset on the lower right-hand side, and I'm going to pick, and you know what? I'm going to change that. I was going to pick Tennessee, but actually Louisville and Notre Dame both had great ends to Louisville had a really good end to the season, but Notre Dame did not. Notre Dame had a rough end to the season, but they got Hannah Hidalgo, who's a beast. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. You know what? I'll go ahead. I'm gonna pull a whisker out my behind here, and I'm gonna go with Notre Dame turning it around, and the 3 seed coming out of there out of Birmingham, and then in the finals I got UCLA beating the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. Shout out to everybody on Instagram watching. Appreciate you, my brother Bajo. I see you out there. Speaking of Bajo, we'll talk about him in just a little bit because we'll have him on show later this week, either maybe this week, hopefully this week, maybe next. Banter, Brawls, and Bravado. So shout out to him watching. But I did create a limerick because it is St. Patrick's Day, and because I am rooting on my UCLA Bruins to be the winners of this tournament. I did a little limerick. I created a limerick in commemoration of the UCLA Bruins. And it goes a little something like this. There once was a squad dressed in blue, whose talent dazzled on a cue. With Kiki Rice shining bright and Lauren Betts' fearless might, they conquered and won every duel. London Jones would light up the arc, while Gabriela Jaquez ignites the sparks. With Angela Dugalak, Hanaya Barker, and Timia Gardner's experienced fight, and the fresh women, Elania Arnasalo, Avery Kane, DMV's own Kendall Dudley, and Zanaya Saka Newman's future so bright, the UCLA Bruins won every fight, an epic championship flight, and left all their foes in the dark. Boom! Professor's limerick right there for St. Patrick's Day for my UCLA Bruins. Y'all know that was dope. Yes, I wrote it myself. It was beautiful. All right. I'm very proud of myself. Dawn Staley, a great coach, can't stand her. A lot of people have that opinion about her because she is a little bit more cocky and brash and outspoken than other coaches. I actually like it much better that way. I love Dawn Staley as a coach, as a personality. And I think that just because she's a little more outspoken, she still has the same kind of coaching personality and coaching sensibilities as a Nick Saban or any of these other people, even Bill Belichick, even if Bill Belichick, excuse me, even if they may not be as outspoken. So, but a lot of people do have that opinion about her. I do not. I love you, Coach Dawn Staley. All right, so that is the women's side of the bracket. I kind of want to repeat that Limerick again because it was so damn good. But the 2024 women's tournament final outpaced the men's championship game, drawing almost 19 million viewers. And so y'all remember that there was, as I mentioned, that they have a new media rights deal, the women do. This was obviously put into place last year. They got the ESPN gave them the media rights, in which they are now able to distribute more money to schools. So obviously being able to leverage the popularity and being able to get more eyes on the game has obviously led to them being able to support the game more and bring the game more up in the eyes of the public, which is what the women and the people in the NCAA on the women's side of supporters have been screaming forever. And it's horrible that they never heard it in the back until now. But at least the women are finally getting their due and deserved shine. So salute to all of the amazing women out there. One of the quick notes, 6 programs are making their debut: Arkansas State, Fairleigh Dickinson, Grand Canyon, UC San Diego. And I bring this up because I'm a homer. 2 schools from Virginia, George Mason and William and Mary. Shout out to those 2 schools. Good luck in the tournament. So again, this first year in the 8-year, $920 million contract extension for the media rights, and we'll see what happens. But let me give you some numbers because I'm the professor. I'm here to learn, y'all. 2021, they averaged 550,000 viewers. 2022, 635,000 viewers. 2023, 985,000 viewers. And in 2024, they had a 121% year-over-year jump to 2.2 million average viewers. Now, are we going to say that happens again this year? Maybe, maybe not. Again, the star power is still there. You don't necessarily have that Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark rivalry, but you do have a lot of great teams and a lot of good star power on the women's side. So I do not know that they will necessarily surpass the viewership of last year's tournament, but it should be at least fairly high in the upper 1 point something million range, 1.75 million, something like that, I would probably have to say. Now, there is one other thing about these media rights deals. They go till 2032. Why did the NCAA do this? Well, they did this so that way both of the deals, men's and women's, end at the same time. They can package them together and get even more money. Dollar bills, y'all. Money make the world go round. We know that. Cash rule everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bills, y'all. Shout out the Wu-Tang Clan coming up with a new album and a tour this year. If y'all are going to be lucky enough to have them come to your town, make sure you check them out. The Wu will always put on an amazing show. Too bad COVID took them out of their last show when they were supposed to come to Nashville, and now they're not coming back this time around. I'm very upset. Wu-Tang, if you put any more shows, please come to Nashville. All right, let's keep that moving. Just a little bit of sidetracking there, but I love me some Wu. The men's side of the bracket, wowzers. This, y'all, if you are betting this going forward, remember that this is going to be mostly chalk. What do I mean by that? I mean that most of the winners in this bracket are going to be mostly teams that are in the higher seeded range. For instance, a lot of people already picking the games are already picking the ones across the board to win out. The ones this year are very, very strong. So thinking about this, let's take a look at the men's side of the bracket. But first, Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida. Those are your 4 number ones. The Auburn Tigers are the number 1 overall seed for the second time in their school's history. But you will remember this whole year, if you watch this program, you will know I am the professor. I teach you things because I want y'all to be smart out there when you're talking all of these different subjects. I want y'all to make sure that you have the best knowledge from your professor. And I told y'all all year long, the SEC was running shop in men's basketball. They were leading the top 5, the top 10 all year long. They have now set a record. 14 teams out of the 70 or the 68, in the field. Wow, that is crazy. So we'll see what happens. They've got a lot of good teams. Florida is playing really good ball right now. I can't tell you who I'm going to pick because it's a shameless plug for the Bottom Line Sports tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure y'all check us out at The Bottom Line Sports on Facebook or also at Ball and Buds on YouTube. I'll give you my men's NCAA picks tomorrow, so that will not be tonight. But you got to watch out for Florida. You got to watch out for Duke. You got to watch out for, obviously, Auburn, probably the team that I'm not sure yet, but they're up there. I'm looking at Auburn, looking at Houston. Obviously, you can't count Houston out. Yes, Houston has been disappointing us year after year in the actual tournament, a la James Franklin and Penn State. They just can't seem to win the big one. But I, at some point, think that Kelvin Sampson, the coach there, will get over the hump and they will win a championship. And this year is probably their best year because they do have Cryer and Sneer and all of the great upperclassmen talent that is leading that team. So we'll see what happens there. In terms of complaining, I got a bone to pick with the West Virginia University president, I think he was like a senator from West Virginia or something like that. And he decided to come out and say they were going to press legal action on the NCAA, calling them the National Corrupt Associate, which is hilarious because you all know, if you watch this program or The Mind of the Professor, how little I think of the NCAA. The NCAA is one of the worst run and most corrupt organizations in the whole world, especially with their bullshit amateurism argument. So we're not going to get into that. You can go back and watch Mind of the Professor. I did a whole damn 30-minute segment on it, so go check that out. But I cannot agree here. I'm sorry. Yes, they picked UNC over you. Yes, UNC is a blue blood. You aren't. Yes, UNC is going to bring more eyes to the TV. All the above. All of the above. It is literally, you are trying to have the most compelling teams, the most compelling storylines, the teams that are going to bring the most eyes. Does it suck for West Virginia? Sure. Does it suck for Indiana? Sure. But sorry, what did you think was going to happen if you came down to y'all versus UNC? Obviously, UNC is a blue blood. They're definitely going to take UNC. So I get the argument. It sucks, but there's really nothing you can do about it. And although, and this is the one thing that is obviously going to detract from my argument and contradict what I just said, UNC was 1-12 in quad games, which means quad games, they have quad 1 through quad 4. And those are the basically the rankings of teams. So the best teams are quad 1, the worst teams are in quad 4. And so they measure this in terms of what's your win-loss record in the different quadrants. UNC was 1-12. Whereas, WVU and Indiana were a lot better. I believe both of them had at least 4 or 6 wins in the quads. So in quad 1 specifically, quad 1 I should be talking about specifically. So pretty crazy, but you knew UNC was going to get in. I don't know why you would think anything different there. Starting in about 10 minutes here, for all those people that are hating on UNC for making it in when they maybe shouldn't have.
Nepotism.
Shout out to the West Virginia. Yeah. Well,
nepotism at its finest, man. When your athletic director has that pool, you can kind of just roll you right on in there.
What do you mean by that? Explain more to our fans.
So their athletic director was one of the guys that sat on the committee when they were making the selections for the teams. Wow. Yeah.
So are you saying that if he wasn't on there, are you saying UNC would not be in the tournament?
They wouldn't be in there. They wouldn't be in there.
That is the common refrain, Jake. How do you feel about this? There's a lot of people saying that. A lot of people saying UNC does not belong.
I don't mind it only because it'd be different if they do anything else. I don't think they do much. They're going to be in and out.
Exactly. All right, let's go through this bracket. Enough about the Cowboys. Enough about the Cowboys. Let's go. All right, East side or South side, we'll start with in the top left corner. You can see Auburn is here in the number 1 seed. You've also got Flo's Texas A&M there at number 4. You also got Michigan State at number 2.
Texas Tech.
I know. I'm messing with you. Michigan State at number 2 and Iowa State at number 3. So let's go around the horn. Who do you have coming out of this region? What?
That South region?
Yes. Yes.
I'll say this. I'll say this, guys. Auburn is suspect, man. Auburn lost a lot of close games toward the end of the season in the SEC. Man, the team that I think that can come out of that region right now, I'm going Michigan State.
Okay, the number 2 seed in Michigan State.
I'm going Michigan State out of that one.
Oh yeah,
I'm going Michigan State.
Okay.
Wow.
What about you, Flo?
I like Auburn. If you look at their win, they got one of the best strength of schedules, despite what Canteen says, and they got a lot of quad 1 and quad 2 wins. I mean, they've been a solid team all year long. I could see them making it to the Final Four. I could see Texas Tech being, because they got a good defense. They got the Big 12 Player of the Year, JT Toppin. He's the Big 12 Player of the Year, and they got a lot of good guard play. They got a freshman who's playing really well. Right now, he's coming into his zone. I think it's Anderson, but man, I'm gonna go. Man, let me go. You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Auburn right now. I'm gonna go Auburn, but I could switch to Texas Tech. I'm gonna go Auburn right now early. They have had a really good schedule, a really tough schedule. A lot of top quad 1, quad 2 wins. I can't overlook that, and so they got a solid all-around team. So I think going into a tournament like this, that's what you need.
Okay. Jake, you see this here? We've got Auburn at the top in this left-hand corner of the South, and then going down, you also have Texas A&M, as we mentioned, Iowa State at number 3 team, and Michigan State at number 2 team. Yeah, I know. I let you go with it. It's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jake.
I'll be fast on this one, fellas, because I think it's going to be a good one. I got the final 2 out of this one is going to be Michigan State versus Michigan.
I told you.
In a big-time fight. I do believe Michigan wins it.
Oh, Texas Tech's in the
Michigan will end up slowing the game down. I believe their 7-footers will destroy that side of the bracket and win at least to be in their Final Four. Michigan versus Michigan State's my final 2 out of that bracket. Michigan beats Michigan State to advance to the Final Four.
Well, as someone who loves storylines, I love that. That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you say like storylines, right?
Yes, you know that. And you know that also they have been fighting each other literally in the hallways at their past basketball, football. Every single time those 2 teams meet, they get into the fisticuffs. And I like a little feistiness. So I actually hope to see that. But I cannot see that. Auburn has been one of the best, if not the best team all country long, all season long in the country. Johnny Broome is the Player of the Year in the country, and they are a force to be reckoned with, and I don't think that any other team in this division can even compete with Auburn. They don't really have many weaknesses, many flaws. They've got a lot of experience with all of their seniors. Right now they've got everything they need to win the championship. I'm going with Auburn out of the South. Cool. All right. Let's move it over to the right-hand column. You see the East here. We have the Duke Blue Devils are the number 1 seed. Moving it down, Arizona Wildcats are your number 4 seed. Wisconsin Badgers, number 3. And then at number 2, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's go around the horn the other way. Let's start with Jake this time. Jake, what do you think about this East region? Who will be coming out? I think I know who you're going to say.
Well, this one's not going to be much of a storyline because there's something about Duke that I feel these Blue Devils are about to do.
Oh, I knew it. I
These
knew it was
Blue
going to be
Devils
Duke.
are going to destroy this conference with ease. I think they just mollywop everybody in their way, whether it's Baylor, whether it's probably Oregon after that. They're going to easily take this to the Final Four. This is not going to be any type of rough shot for them. They're going to have a good slate. Duke Blue Devils all day. Let's go.
All right, cool. Before we move on, quick comments from Kyle. Shout out, Kyle. Thank you for tuning in. Says, I hear you, but you can't sleep on
I
Izzo
told
in
you
March.
when I told you, Professor, do not sleep on Tom Izzo, bro. I told you.
Yep, I agree. He's one of the greatest coaches ever. Can't. He also says, I think Auburn is too dangerous for Michigan. Broom will show out. I agree with you, Kyle. I think Auburn is too dangerous for anyone in that region. All right, cool. Flo, what do you think about the East region here that we're looking at?
East, let's see. Who we got in the East here?
You got Duke as number 1.
Florida.
You got Wisconsin at 3. Arizona 4.
Okay.
You've got number 2 is Alabama.
East. Okay.
Yeah,
Alabama.
you're looking at the wrong one. There you go. Yep. There you go.
East. Okay. Alabama's 2 there, right?
Yes.
I like
correct.
Arizona. Arizona's. I mean, people talk about the SEC, but the Big 12 is a deep conference, and they played well. They won the Big 12 championship, or they went to the championship game, and so I think this is a chance that they could beat Duke. I mean, I think they'll meet them in the Sweet 16. Looks like if they both win. The thing about Duke is they don't have a lot of quality wins. They don't have a good strength of schedule. And I like to look at that. Strength of schedule matters. Quad 1, quad 2 wins. They're not great at that. I mean, granted, they're not in the necessarily best conference, but they do have a lot of good players, so I can't take that away from them. They have quality players. I just don't think Duke's been the same since Krzyzewski has left. I don't know if they're quite going to get back there. I could see Alabama taking them out. And this being basically Alabama making it to the Final Four out of the East.
I will have to say I think John Shire has done a great job there. They're 31-3 this year, so I'll have to disagree with you on the not being good since Krzyzewski left, but they have not won a title yet, that's for sure. Canteen, what do you think? Who's going to win the East?
Hey, Professor, I will say this, man. I think Duke is rolling high, man. I think as Stephen A. Smith said this morning, if Cooper Flagg plays his first game, I think the coach at Duke is an idiot. Cooper Flagg, an idiot. Let the guy rest. Let him sit out, man.
Yeah, I completely agree. It would be very
now. Here's as team wise, do not sleep on Arizona, and you better not sleep on Oregon. Those are my sleeper teams coming out of that East. They're my sleeper teams right there, Professor.
Okay, so who's your team though? Who you got coming out for sure? Who you got?
I'm going Arizona. I'm going to Wildcat, baby. Wildcats.
Yeah.
Wildcats. For real.
Hey, that's not a bad pick. I like Arizona. I think that this is a down region. I was actually gonna back you up there. I think it would be very, 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 I don't want to say stupid, but it would be a very bad decision for them to play Cooper Flagg before they need to, and they definitely do not need him game 1.
I keep losing audio, sorry.
Oh, good. I wouldn't even think they would really need him for game 2 either. So I'd think about sitting him out the whole weekend, but I do understand if they wanted to play him in game 2. While I do like your Arizona pick, I'm actually going to go with Alabama here. I think Alabama has played well all season. Nate Oates has that team going, full pedal to the metal. They're always playing as fast and hard as possible, and they shoot a lot of threes, similar to my Celtics. And they converted at 40% from the three-point line over the final month of the season. They're also great at rebounding and attacking the rim. I have Alabama beating Duke here to come out of this region. I think that Cooper Flagg injury may be a little more harder to overcome with than Duke would like. All right, Moving down to our bottom, we have the West region. Florida is your number 1 seed in the West. Your number 4 seed is my alumni, the University of Maryland Terrapins. Shout out. At number 3, Flo's Texas Tech Raiders. And at number 2, Red Raiders, excuse me. And at number 2, St. John's.
Hey.
Wow.
Hey.
Hey, St. John's at number 2. What a hell of a job why am I blanking right now?
Rick Pitino.
Not Calipari, Pitino. Thank you. I was
Rick
thinking Calipari.
Pitino, baby.
Rick Pitino has done an amazing job at St. John's, getting them to a number 2 seed. Canteen, who do you got in this West Division out here?
Now I'm gonna say this, Flo. I'm gonna say this, Professor.
Mm-hmm.
Florida's riding high.
Yes, they are.
But scroll down the break. Let me look at something.
I got you. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Now I will say this: that Kansas Arkansas game gonna be a good shit show, baby. It's gonna be a good shit show. Excuse me for all the parental advisory, whatever you want to say. That Arkansas, Calipari, Bill Self game. That game gonna be woo. That's gonna be one for the taking. And then they're gonna have to play. St. John's ain't losing to the Omaha. Rick Pitino gonna play either Bill Self or he playing Calipari. That's gonna be the game, baby. And it's gonna be between one of those two teams who might match up against Florida.
Who you got?
That's what I'm saying right there.
Who you got? Tell us who your pick is to come out of the West, Canteen.
I like Pitino. I like old Rick, man. I like old Rick. I like old slick face, bourbon drinking Rick Pitino, man.
Hey, yeah. I do love the job that Rick Pitino has done there.
He's solid,
I can definitely see something like that happening. Jake, what do you think? Is Jake still here? Jake's not here? There he is.
Yeah, Jake right there.
My bad. I'm trying to fix my internet.
You're good.
Look, as much as I hate to say it, and I'm not a fan of this damn team, I think Texas Tech actually wins this damn division. I don't know why.
Whoa!
I really can't stand them. I just don't believe in Florida. Maryland has always been the team to say, hey, we suck. No wonder Omar came from them.
Wow.
And then you got
I just
St.
heard Omar
John,
sucked.
who's overrated. I think Texas Tech will come out of this division, and I think they'll represent the West.
Wow.
First of all, if you ever disparage the immaculate name of a top 15 university in the United States of America, like the University of damn Maryland, I will come through that screen and slap the hell out of you myself. You understand me? Flo, what do you got? He chose your team to come out of this division.
Hey, I'm surprised that he picked Texas Tech. I would say it's going to be.
He did say he hates them. He did say he hates them.
Well, at least he put a caveat on it. So he put his caveat on it. Yeah, I think it's going to be Florida and Texas Tech and the West coming out of this in the Elite Eight. And I'm going to go Raiders. I like my Raiders. I'm going to go Raiders too, be a little bit of a homer. They have like I said, they have JT Toppin, the Big 12 Player of the Year. They play great defense, great team defense. And they beat the Houston Cougars without their top 2 players, and their coach got kicked out, and they still beat them on the road in Houston. That's a big win for them. That shows they got a lot of resiliency, and I think that's what you need in these kind of tournaments.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I've been hyping up St. John's for the past 5 minutes, but let's be completely honest. St. John's wins primarily on defense. They cannot shoot the ball to save their lives, and you got to have some sort of offense within the tournament. You're not just going to be able to win strictly off of defense. That being said, Florida has been on a tremendous scorcher to end the season, and they have the best backcourt one of the best backcourts along with Houston in the nation. So I'm actually going to go with Florida here, and I'm going to have them coming out over. I'm gonna still have St. John's at least making that. That Elite Eight at least. But yeah, they can't shoot, so I wouldn't be surprised if Texas Tech did knock them out, though. So, all right, moving on to the last region here.
My only concern is that we had Chance McMillan and Darian Williams got hurt in the Big 12 tournament, so I'm hoping they're healthy. If they're healthy, I like them. If McMillan and Darian Williams can't play, I think they may struggle and may not get that far. That's my caveat.
Well, there you go. All right, moving on to the Midwest. You see on the right side, Houston is your number 1 seed. Purdue is your number 4 seed. At number 3 is Kentucky. And then at number 2 is the Tennessee volunteers. So let's go back around the horn, Flo, since you've been having a little bit of audio issues. Let's go with you first, just in case.
All right, so I like Houston. I think the Big 12 is a top conference, top to bottom. And I think Houston is there for a reason. Like I said, they lost to Texas Tech at home. That was the first loss in like 30 games at home, which, you're playing at home, but they have a very good squad, and they have a pretty deep squad. They can play 7 or 8 guys, and so that's helpful in a tournament as well, in case some guy gets in foul trouble in that. And I like Tennessee also to come out of this. They played really well all year. They have some good quality wins. I think Kentucky, they're a little overrated, so I'm going to go. It's Houston and Tennessee, and I'm going to go Houston in this one. I think Houston is gonna make another run. I don't know if they make it all. Oh, it won't be Big 12, my bad.
Okay.
That'd be later on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Canteen, go ahead. Who you got?
Yeah, I
in
was
the
waiting
Midwest?
for you. Go to next. I didn't.
Man, that region there, man. Oh, man, Kelvin Sampson, Houston, they gonna run table on it, man.
Okay.
Houston hands
All
down, bro. Man, that's it, man.
All right, Jake.
Yeah, they got it.
Well, like I said at the beginning of it all, I said, one's got to be a Cinderella story. Michigan, I would put as my Cinderella story, but I feel that number 5 ain't, as Cinderella-ish. So I got to kind of go out on a limb here. And there's just something in me that believes High Point will be your upset of this bracket.
You know what?
And I got High Point.
Okay. You don't mean they're gonna win the whole thing? Okay, thank God.
No. They're gonna represent the Midwest.
I thought you meant wait, what? You think they're gonna win the Midwest region?
Yeah, they're gonna win the whole. One of them's gotta be. You gotta have one Cinderella story in there.
Look.
High Point will be the team to point themselves high enough for a representation.
How many people are?
Jake,
What happened?
They're gonna beat Purdue, guys, and after that, I think they can beat either Clemson.
Professor, somebody need to call 911 to get somebody.
Someone please call 911.
Ain't no way you said
We
that
say
like
it every year, guys. We see it every year.
We get a psychiatric evaluation immediately on Hot Take Jake for just saying that High Point, the number 14 seed, was going to win the whole Midwest over Houston and Tennessee. Yes, that is what he said. That is what he just said. I cannot believe what I just heard in my own damn ears.
Hey, it does happen every year.
Said, oh my God!
And there will be a team that will crack like the Sweet 16, maybe even the Elite 8.
It's not going to be the Final Four.
Not the Final Four.
Y'all be ready.
Okay.
Okay, so Jake,
High Point
for the fans out there, go ahead and give them your Final Four so we can listen.
This has got to be
Hot
Take Jake's hottest take of the week.
You should have heard my one today.
Who do you got, Jake? Who's your 4?
So High Point, Duke, Michigan, and Texas Tech. And I think the championship,
Michigan, Texas Tech.
And I think the championship will end up being Michigan versus Duke. And Duke will forever and all, the Blue Devils will rise once again and be champions.
So Duke over Michigan in the championship. I just want to make sure I get this down because I'm going to cut this up and put it out tomorrow. Flo, who do you got in your Final Four in your championship game and your winner?
So I think I have Auburn and who do I got? I think I got Auburn and Florida.
You said Texas Tech and Houston, I thought.
Well, it was the wrong region, so.
Okay. No, but you said you wanted Texas Tech over Florida, I thought.
Oh, that's right. That's that region. Okay. Yeah, so it'd be Texas Tech versus Auburn, and then it'll be Alabama versus Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And the other side, I'm gonna go. Oh man, I'm gonna go Auburn versus Houston. I mean, it's kind of everybody picks the favorites, but I think they're playing really well. Those have been the two top teams most of the year. They're both in very tough conferences. I think that has made them, battle tested, being in those tough conferences all season long, playing through injuries, playing through ups and downs of the season. I think that seasoned them quite a bit, and I like Auburn and Houston to make the championship. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Houston because I think the Big 12 has a better conference. I'm gonna give them a slight edge and give Houston the championship.
Wow. Flo and I are perfectly matched on every single pick except one. I completely agree.
Smart minds think alike.
I completely agree. I think Alabama, Florida, Houston, Auburn, it's going to be chalk this year. If you look at all the teams that have, well, first of all, when you're looking at college basketball, you want to look at those net ratings. You want to look at the KenPom, the other ratings.
The quad 1, quad 2.
Yeah, wins. But usually in those ratings, if you have teams that are top 20 in both offense and defense efficiency, usually those are your top contenders for the championship, and usually all other teams will fall to the wayside. Houston and Auburn are two supremely experienced teams. Houston has two seniors in their backcourt. Auburn, again, has the player of the year in Johnny Broome. So I see them meeting in the championship. I also have, like I said, Florida and Alabama in my other final two. And then so in the championship game, I agree with Flo. I think that Kelvin Sampson and Houston have been on the precipice of a championship for about 4 years now, and they just can't get over the hump. But now, like I said, they've got that senior experience with LJ Cryer. Like you said, they play in the Big 12, one of the best conferences in the nation. Again, I really like Auburn, but I think that they may still be around for a few more years. I'm going to give it to Houston to finally get over the top and win the championship over Auburn.
Great minds think alike, Professor.
There you go. Hey, so that is our men's Final Four and championship picks. That being said, shout out to UCLA Bruins, going to whoop all that ass in the women's division.
I like Texas and TCU.
I do like Texas. Madison Booker's a beast. USC, Juju Watkins is a silent killer. Yeah. Notre Dame, Hannah Hidalgo is great, but Notre Dame had a rough stretch down
I like
the
Baylor
past.
Get a surprise team, maybe coming out at number 4 seed. I like Baylor possibly coming through there and coming out of the I can't remember, Spokane, I guess, where they're.
Hey, let's get a couple more comments in here. We really appreciate you, Kyle, for tuning in and giving those comments all the time. Please make sure you join our Facebook group. It's an awesome sports trash talk and news group.
Kyle, don't worry, brother. You're going to come back and say, damn it, Jake, you're the smartest man in the room.
What? The what?
Okay. He hasn't said that at all, actually. Man. He has not been saying that, actually.
Smartest man in your house.
They're losing them.
Definitely not true. That's definitely true. But yeah, anyways.
You're not even the smartest person in your house. I think your wife got you on that one.
Well, yeah, after he wore his wife's hat that one day, we pretty much figured out that was the end of that.
So you can't be the smartest.
KCB like John Cena, sucker. We are out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in to Bottom Line Sports. Make sure you catch us every Tuesday night. Sometimes we go Wednesdays. Doesn't matter. 8 p.m. Eastern.
Subscribe on YouTube at Ball and Buds.